Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the Serious Strategy Gamer and we are returning to a Let's Play of War in the West. So we have set up a couple of our air doctrines here. We are going to send our bombers here to Brandenburg, where we're trying to hit a vehicle factory. We are sending the Royal Air Force down here into the Ruhr Valley to attack some synthetic fuel refineries, and we are finally attacking this airfield over here at Enschede. Now, in between episodes I got a little bit hesitant because we have this giant airfield here with a lot of enemy fighters, so I don't know specifically whether this is going to be a good idea here to send our 8th bomber fleet this way, but you know what, this actually should probably be hidden by fog of war, so you know what, we're not going to do that. But I did reconsider one thing, and that is, let's have a look over here at these guys over here. So you can see we've got quite a couple of escort fighters here for Bomber Command as they are trying to come in here into the Ruhr Valley. And I think what we could do here is grab a couple of these guys, and that's, let's say, number 29 here. You guys are going to be reassigned to Fighter Command. So we're going to grab you. We're also going to grab you guys over here. So just a couple of these guys. I think 3 squadrons or so might be very nice. And I want to experiment around a little bit with you guys here. So let's switch you all to Fighter Command. And then what we're going to do is we are going to ask Fighter Command to do something else, and that is we are going to set up an air mission here, sort of in this vicinity over here, by Fighter Command of course, over here, and we are going to do that as a night intruder mission, and I want them to be all assigned to that. That's going to be fine. You guys do have very good loadouts here, so this radar should allow you to pick up enemy fighters, so that would be nice. And then we are going to define that as sort of an area that is kind of large, that should encompass a lot of the enemy airfields here. Specifically, I'm looking for the ones with the night fighters in, so maybe shift that a little bit towards over here to Maastricht, maybe, so that we have this in here. Well, these are just BF-109, so these are not night fighters. These guys are though, so yeah, maybe. Okay, let's define that as slightly larger here. And we are going to allocate that towards down here, and that should be fine. So that is covering quite a couple of hexes here, and that's fine. So yeah, you guys are going to fly there. You can go up a little bit higher, let's say 22,000, and you're just going to try to find enemies here. It's not, you know, the most important aspect that we're doing here, but I am interested to see whether we can catch some of these night fighters as they are landing or taking off from their night bases. And that would be great to have a bit of a night fighter fight here. Good. Down here we've got all of the naval patrols set up towards Sardinia. That's fine. But more importantly, we do need to think about what we can do over here. Now, firstly, this attack over here, I think we can skip on this one, because indeed we don't have any aircrafts that can fly over here. So, in fact, we are actually going to ask you to not be active. And the same goes for this recon mission over here. So these guys should simply be inactive, and that is going to be fine. Now, these attacks up here by our strategic bombers, again, they were not really that effective all the way up there, so I don't think that is something that we should try to repeat. Now, we've got a couple of fighters here, but they're not the most really. So I suppose what we could try to do is try to find a different target here. A little bit more towards the south over here. Let's have a look at the depots. So there are not that many depots, just Messina. We've got these guys over here. We've got quite a bit of AA still in Messina itself. So probably it's not worthwhile to try to block the strait over here. I think that's going to have to be fine. Yeah, so there's no big issue there, and in terms of depots, I'm guessing we could try to strike Palami here. It's not a fantastic target, but Palami, excuse me, there we go. Yeah, you guys should be doing that. I'm going to actually withdraw the fortresses over here for this turn. Just have them relax over there, and that should be fine. And in terms of target priority, we should say that you guys are not really going to go for an airfield over here, but more for the railway and rail yards, in fact. So that is what I want you to target, and that's going to be fine. And you know what, you guys are going to do the same. So your target hex is again going to be down here. So that's fine. We should actually make sure that we're not flying right by Messina though. And again, your target priority are going to be not so much this, but actually airfields. And rail yards. And I think that's fine. That should give us some breathing room here. In terms of the aircrafts that are flying with these guys, we should potentially see... I mean, it's a lot of different guys over here. These guys aren't active, that's fine. We've got a lot of lightnings over here. Still, I think that's going to be okay. Lots of Mitchells, lots of fortresses. We probably don't need that many, but that's going to be fine, I think. Good. Yeah. Let's leave it at that. So that is one attack. Oh, the recon here is still flying too close to Messania, so that's an issue. And you know what? Actually, you could come in a little bit more to the side there, and I think that's still going to be alright. Yeah, we don't need to specifically fly over the Italian units here. Yeah. I think that's okay. Good. Right, so... and we have various ground support missions here by the 12th Tactical and the Tactical Air Force, so that's all good and fine. You guys are... you were supposed to do the interdiction missions, and you know what? I think we can just pause you for a second here. You were taking quite a lot of casualties last time around, so I don't want you to do that again, so that has to be fine. Now we did push up a little bit, so I think we can... actually, if we just get rid of this here for a second, and also get rid of the AA stuff, so yeah, we've got the Italians and Germans in a little pocket over here, and we've got a unit up here. Now this unit up here is also benefiting from the fortifications over there, but there's also a lot of AA there, so I want to be careful not to jump onto that right away. And I think what we can do then is take the ground attack here by the 12th Air Force and shift that just slightly to the north here, so that we are covering basically all of these guys here. We're not covering this airfield, but you know what, I think that's going to be okay. So yeah, that is going to be okay. And the altitude, 20,000 feet, that's fine. Recon is also coming in, and I think we're going to be very similar about that, so that we are pushing some recon here on these units, and that's basically fine. Ground support I think is also still nice, that we are targeting specifically these guys. And then we've got recon here from Air Malta. You guys you've got 30 aircraft here. Are you flying on decent altitudes? Let's briefly check on these guys. Do you have medium level altitude cameras? Yes you do, so that's fine. Yeah, well the question is really, do we want to attack anywhere up here? I think we do need to start building up some air recon here, so probably that's what we want to do. Even though I know it's not ideal to fly into this area here, but what can we do? I think it just needs to be done, so yeah. Slightly smaller profile there, but that is going to be fine. We've got air superiority flight missions here by Air Malta. Now these guys are very, very low on Spitfires. I did exchange a couple of these guys, especially when they were set to rest this turn. I did exchange a couple of the aircraft loadouts there, also for the B-17s, B-24s, and other stuff. Now, nevertheless, we probably want to expand that here, so even if it's very few aircraft, I think we probably want you to fly somewhat more aggressively in this vicinity over here. At least over here, that should be okay. Yeah, I like it. What altitude are you flying at? 26,000. That sounds very reasonable to me. Right, so we've got a ground attack here that is specifically dedicated against the units, which I think is going to be fine. We've got the recon over here that can go against interdiction, but I think we also want to probably target units specifically a little bit more as well, so that is going to be fine. Yeah, and that way we should enable that. Ground support here, naval patrols, so that's fine. All very ugly to see. What was that? Oh, that's the inactive ones. Okay, that's slightly easier to see here. But yeah, that being said, let's go ahead and see what the Germans, what our air missions are going to achieve over here. I'm very intrigued to find out what the 8th Air Force is going to do in Germany, or whether they are just going to be shredded by these 200 plus fighters that was just sitting on their way. But also, the attack on Bur, on the synthetic oil plants, is going to be very interesting. Now, I don't think we're going to Cologne this turn, but there's also one more attack on an airfield. So, let's see. We've got fighter command here, and we've got, I think these guys must be the intruders, right? So, yeah. And it does seem, honestly, I'm kind of happy with this result. Look at that. I mean, These are just small fights here. It's mostly for whatever reason it's mostly a single of our fighters just bouncing on them when they've got 12 fighters here. So yeah, you can really see what's going on here. So interesting. That's very interesting. Yeah, and the altitude here is extremely low. So while these guys are landing or taking off, we don't know that, one of our mosquitoes is sneaking in and just shoots down one of these BF-101s. That's very nice. I like that. That's a good amount of damage here, and you can see that these are experienced guys, so that very likely means a German pilot lost. And an experienced one at that. So that is definitely nice to see, and you can see we had a couple of these results over here. Trond, Venlo, it's mostly around Venlo. No, it's also in Trond. Really interesting to see that. We've also got a fully blown air combat here, but that one is somewhat less decisive. They're coming in slightly higher than we are. We are dealing more damage than they are, but they're not losing any particular aircraft here. Yeah, and our experience is not so great, but still it's nice to see that definitely our night fighters can hold their ground. Although it's fantastic to see that they have so small missions. Nice, I like that. That's a good result. That's very encouraging. How about your daylight missions? Oh my god. So on the daylight missions, we've had some air combat here with 10 of our fighters lost. 10 Spitfires lost against their losses of 8. I mean, this is still favorable towards us. But look at that. We were flying up higher than they were. But they had some very high experienced units here. And you know what? I am going to take 3 dead German pilots against... 8 dead German pilots against 10 of ours. Especially if ours are not that experienced. Interesting. And still, you know, these kinds of loss ratios do favor us. This one here, not so much. 3 against 1. That is not a great result. Why did that happen? Interesting. They were much lower than we were. We were kind of... How can these Czech guys lose against that? That is an interesting mismatch here. Could potentially be due to our loadouts. Yeah, well, hard to say. Nevertheless, mostly fine. Let's look at the real stuff. We're here for the strategic bombing, so let's look at this. Did lose a couple of aircraft here, just 4 aircrafts lost. Not a big attack though. Evidently. No, these are just the recon flights. 4 recon aircraft is a lot to lose actually. Nevertheless, synthetic oil refineries here are definitely being affected. Yeah, so that is nice to see that there is quite a bit of damage being dealt here. Nevertheless, we are losing 14 bombers against their 7 fighters. So that is not a good ratio. Specifically, what was going on over here? Why did we lose so many? Probably ops losses, I'm thinking. But we're just gonna see. No, Flak. You were losing a lot against Flak. Interesting. I mean, this is a nice attack. So I would not have expected that bad losses. Well, on the other hand, it's Wellington's both fighters. But a couple of Lancasters as well. So what altitude did you fly in though? 18,000 feet. That's not specifically very low. This is kind of what the United Kingdom can do, even though they have kind of good bombers. Oh well. What about the Allies? What about the Americans? Oh god. Oh god. Okay. Well, firstly, the vehicle yards here, 50% damage, 20% damage, 15% damage. That's looking pretty good. What's not looking so great though is this. 25 bombers. Jesus. That's 50 planes lost. 50 planes lost, oh my god, in a single week. 50 bombers lost and 12 escorts. Jesus, what was going on over here? Mostly B-17s as ops losses, probably due to earlier air combat. 12 AA losses. That's harsh. That's really harsh. Who did kill us then? That's mostly just BF-109s. It was fantastically bad to fly next to these guys. And we did not at this point have any air support here. That's really what's killing us. See, at this point we still had escort fighters, and they were the ones taking the damage. But up over here in this X, lost our escorts, lost 12 fighters. Lost 12 bombers actually. And then more over the target due to ops losses that were just accumulating. Harsh. Harsh. That was tough. That's tough. You can see just basically where they intercepted us as we are coming in. And I'm very much sure that they were coming in from over here. Man, oh man, that's not great. Did we lose some recon craft as well? Yeah, quite a couple, actually 5. Oh my. And then we've got the 9th Air Force. You guys were attacking something over here, I think. Somewhere. Yeah, that's the attack on the airfield there. So let's see how that did. So the 9th Air Force here has a couple of fighters lost against one of theirs. Not a great ratio, not that bad either. Yeah, but look at that. So that's not... This is just not sustainable. 60 bombs lost here against 3 of theirs. It's just not... Yeah, and they are coming in without fighters. I can never ever have them come in without fighters. Yeah, and it's just the BF-101s. The heavy fighters, they're coming in for the Marauders here and they're just shredding them. They're coming in from high as well. They're patrolling. Not good, not good, my friends. This attack definitely has been a failure. This one, I'm sort of on the fence. It's heavy losses, but it did fulfill its objective. This one, not so much. No. The point here was luring out enemies, and we did kill 9 of theirs, but we lost 60 aircraft, and that is, despite all of our superiority, not something that we can take. Naval patrols here, these seem to be much more successful though, so that's very nice to see that the Germans are losing so many of their bombers. That is very, very nice. Air superiority from Victoria, that's apparently not going anywhere. Couple of... Ooh, what's going on over here? What is going on? That must be part of some of these fights? All of these fights? That was extremely weird. What is the game trying to tell me here? Sometimes the interface is really weird, but this is telling me that there was a battle with 321 enemy bombers that we interdicted over here. And I just can't see that. It might be the sum of all of these things? Maybe? Yeah, that could match up to all of these things, but I'm guessing these are all the same bombs that we are intercepting again and again. Nevertheless, you know what? I am going to take these kinds of losses on their side. 12 bombers against 2 of our fighters. That is just very nice. I like it. Good. Strategic Air Force, you guys were trying to bomb the rail lines there. Yeah, did some damage. Nice to see. Also nice to see that we are luring in their fighters. So that's good to see, and they are losing them. And these are actually German pilots here that are going down. So that's nice. And again we can see the fact that our escorts do save the day. So whenever we have escorts, it's great. Whenever we don't, that is a big issue. Now, luckily, I have prepared something in that regard, and that is I have switched over a couple of our fighters here in the 8th, in the Mighty 8th, to be basically that. Can we actually see that somewhere? I think we can see it over here, right? Air group. And then if we look at the 8th Air Force, you can see that I have converted quite a couple of these guys here into, at least one of them, into Mosquito fighter bombers. So the New Zealanders here, these guys will now fly 2-engined fighters that are going to support us, and they do have quite a long range, so they might actually be able to support us into way deeper into Germany. But yeah, so far so not very great. Anyway, let's move on to the ground phase over here. Let's see what we can do. Oh, or was there anything else that we did want to check in the air phase? I think it's mostly fine, right? So yeah, tactical air force, you guys didn't do anything. Just some naval stuff, us losing some planes, that's alright. Yeah, nothing too big though. So yeah, let's look at the ground situation, right? And I do like to see which areas here are enemy controlled. So we have broken out to our friendly lines over here. I would very much love to throw them out of the sea. All of these guys here are very low on supply, so that is what I like to see. And then we've got these two port cities that are still active. Now I think I want to probably still start over here. Well, this is very heavily defended, isn't it? Yes. So we do probably need some engineers over here to break through there. You guys are also very low on supplies, so yeah, probably we should actually start here with the rail network. So yeah, before we forget, let's actually move you guys up. Why did I have that on? I don't mean to. Right, there we go. Let's just repair at least the railway up to over here. I think that's going to be nice because there is a depot over here. Probably can bring that in a little bit closer actually. So yeah, let's do bring that up all the way over here, and then let's go this way. I think that's going to be alright. Yeah, so that we have some bases here to actually get that done. And then you guys are fine. Everyone here is more or less fine. Yeah, but this is the only depot that we have that's close. Nonetheless, I do think it might make sense to loop around over here to make sure that we have got some rail supply in that direction. So that should be nice. Yeah, let's just build this up as far as possible. It's probably going to be only until here. But that's fine, you know. This way we have a decent rail network. It's not quite connected up. There's still quite a bit of a difference down here, or some distance that it hasn't been covered yet, but I think it's going to be covered over time, and that should be alright too. Yeah, and then we can loop around over here. Probably we are going to take one of these ports here at some point as well, so that should also help out. Good. So that does cover the rail aspect. Now, where do we want to move in first? Now, I think I would like to at least push these guys out of the way so that I have a better supply line all the way over here. Now, we probably cannot get rid of this Panzer Grenadier Division, and I think we are not quite enough to take these guys out. We could go over here, and we might need to do that so that we are capturing some of these bases. We can't go on the volcano itself, though, so that's going to be alright. Okay, so I think probably let's start out by trying to push against these guys over here. And I'm going to start out with a hasty attack because I'm really not sure just how strong they are. It looks like they're not doing too badly over here, even though they should get some very, very negative modifiers. Yeah, but they are also being supported, it seems, right? Well, we also were supported by the Air Force, though, and that just didn't do that much, so not that great. Not that very auspicious start here. Okay, so let's try a deliberate attack then with these guys. Maybe that will push them out since they are... Yes, it does push them out, so that's nice to see. And it was already kind of close anyway, so nice. Also very minimal losses here from our side, so that is already very good to see. So yeah, I like to see that. Good. Can we push up with any of you guys? Yeah, we can. So I think that's exactly what we're going to do. Send in this unit over there. And then we've got the tanks, and we've potentially got you guys as well. So you could come over here and also participate in the attack. And that might not be the worst idea. 6 points over there. There's no... Oh no, there are some infantry units here. So probably we want to push these guys up a little bit more aggressively. Although we could also push them up here. So let's briefly check. So you are part of this group. So yeah, you know what indeed we are going to do? What we're going to do is we're going to take the Canadians up here. We're going to take both of these groups here because they are in the same corps. And that's also always giving you some nice benefits there. And I just need the two of you, and I do want to do a hasty attack against these guys here. Yeah, they are breaking. They're surrendering actually the motorized division, and the other guys are retreating. So that's very nice. And that does enable us to go over here much more aggressively. And that is indeed very, very nice. So what we could try to do then is push up these tanks here against this group here in Messina itself, which would certainly be very nice to be able to take them out over there. So that might be one idea. The other one would of course be over here. Now I think what I would like to do though It's a lot of movement points and all of that, but let's do take that mountain because I don't want them to retreat on this. That would be kind of difficult to dislodge. So yeah, I think that's going to be okay this way. Right, how about the Canadians? Could you move up any further? Yeah, you can. You know what? If you can move up here, let's try to dislodge these Italians here. Well, that didn't go too well, but that is also because these Germans here got committed, and you know what? That is actually not that bad at all for us. I do like the idea that the Germans here have been committed because that does lead to them being somewhat weaker than they otherwise would be. Let's also make sure that you guys here are moving up as fast as possible. I don't think you're going to be able to join at all this time, but that's fine. At least we know that we have you a little bit closer, so that's good. Right, then you're a pretty weak brigade here, but still you might be coming up this way. Yeah, we do need to make sure, I do want to make sure that we are pushing them out, right? So let's actually grab these tanks here. Move up a little bit, do a hasty attack here. They are not committing the defense, so that's fine, they're being routed. And that is fantastic. That does bring our tanks a little bit closer here to Messina. That might actually mean that we can take Messina this time around. So let's actually bring up both of these guys here and commit to a hasty attack on these guys over here. Which definitively is not going to work out at all. Yeah, because your fortifications here are kind of high. Right, so that was a nice pipe dream, but a pipe dream nonetheless. So let's make sure that we can. Let's try to move up further though. So yeah, you guys can also join in over here. Now you guys are all a little bit mixed up with all different corps, but nevertheless, let's try to push up against you guys very strongly. We could potentially try to assign. You've got armored and other stuff. That's okay, but can we? We've got a couple of engineers here, so that's nice. Let's try to assign another one over here, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to... You know what? We can actually probably go ahead at least with one of you. That's fine. And then let's try to attack over here again. That is very nice. Except, of course, I don't know what's happening to the screen. Don't know whether you guys can see that. But definitely a good number of AA battalions here are surrendering, so that does indicate that we have indeed taken Messina at high losses. 500 casualties, that's not too great. But nevertheless, it does look like they are retreating, and that is fantastic because that does mean we have the port, and this port is going to be of enormous value to us. It's very hard to overstate just how important Messina is going to be because this port will definitely bring in more supplies. We've got the rail yard over here. Probably going to dislodge these guys here and going to try to get them over there. That's fine. Let's try to get the infantry closer to the front line then, I think. So let's say over here, covering our flank there. So that's fine. You guys are mostly fine. So what we could actually do is, this is all rough terrain, right? So we don't necessarily need our tanks over here. But it would also certainly be nice to push up again a bit more strongly here. Right, so what we can do is try to attack these guys over here. Let's do that deliberately. Yeah, surrendered and retreated, so that's good to see. Nice. Some casualties, but not too bad, honestly. So let's try to do a hasty attack over here. That might actually be sufficient. Yes, it is. Nice. So yeah, we are pushing up. That's very fantastic to see. Good result over there. Very nice. You guys are going to support the defense over here. Have we got enough attack here for another attack? Enough movement points, of course. Let's do one against the Italians. I think they might break. Yeah, and they're all surrendering. So 20,000 people surrendering here against 60 casualties. That is very nice. No complaints there, my friends. Good. So yeah, the big question is, can we push up over here? You guys will need to wait a little bit. You guys can support over here, alright? So, okay, let's grab at least... Well, it's not the best attack that we can muster, but it just might be enough. So let's try to do a deliberate one over here. They are holding out, but just barely. I mean, this is very close to them surrendering, and their fortifications are gone now. So, yeah, let's do another one over here. Oh, they're holding out now. Interesting, I did not expect that. Right, we could try to Okay, yeah, let's just grab the tanks over here and do a hasty one with the tanks. And this time they should... No. Really? Okay. Well, you know what? Next time they're going to be fine. Right, I don't want to attack over here. These fortifications seem too strong for the moment. So that's fine. You guys are all right. Someone else with a good amount of movement points here? Yeah, just the paratroopers. Speaking of which, I could of course try to set them up towards a landing over here. But that is going to have to wait a little while over there. Right, so where do we stand over here then? Now, with these guys being so strong, I don't think there's any point of attacking here. We've just got 11 combat against there, so probably not. How about over here though? These are mostly tanks. Nevertheless, yeah, let's try a deliberate, a hasty attack here with these tanks. Let's see where that goes. These are mostly Italians. They might break. They don't. And they very much don't. Okay, fine. In that case, let's do a deliberate attack here with everyone. And they are surrendering. That's nice. So that's yet another harbour here for us. And that is very good news indeed. Good. So that does also mean that you guys probably want to go over here to start being ready for the attack there. And that's nice to see. You guys, yeah, potentially let's go over there as well. And over here, of course, we are gonna repair the... Well, it's just a very small port, so probably not. Okay, fine, but that does open up a lot of new airfields for us, and that is fantastic indeed. So what I'm going to do in between episodes is just going to rearrange a couple of things here in our air fleets and everything. Then we're going to turn it over towards the Germans. So, very much excited for that, but yeah, very nice results over here, I think. Very, very good casualties, so yeah. Happy about that. Hope you enjoyed. Do leave a like and all of that, and I see you again next time. Bye-bye.